shopping and a prep day. And I say, shop for your food ahead of the week, because we all know we get into our weeks, we're running kids around, we're dealing with our job stuff, we're trying to run around. It's real easy, if we don't have anything at home good to eat or anything on us, it's easy to go out and run through that drive-thru, or run to that vending machine, or throw that frozen pizza in the oven. So we really, you really want to set a plan for the week and have stuff ready for the week and prepare. And freeze some stuff, even if you're not going to eat it that week. I know one of the things we do in our house is we'll make a big bowl of healthy chili, and we'll freeze a bunch of it, and then we can thaw it out, and then we can make it fairly quickly. Crock pots are great, things like that. You just have to be in a proactive versus a reactive mindset. And so you want to have that good food on hand and you're prepared, so when you go into your week, you can just grab and execute. You don't have to think too much about it. That's where I see a lot of people go wrong, is they'll always say, well, I didn't have time to go shopping, or I didn't have anything good, so I was really hungry, so I swung through Subway, or I went to this. And when you're in that hungry mindset, not the best time to go shopping. So make sure that you're planning and designate a certain day to do these things if you want to be successful with nutrition. Always eat breakfast, do not skip meals. Like I said, it's all about starting the day all right and keeping that blood sugar under control. Minimize sugar. Always be on the mind. And when I say sugar, I mean refined sugar. Sugar from fruits is natural sugar. It's more, but I'm talking about stuff from pop, stuff that's put into certain foods like the fat-free foods. So really try to get that sugar content down. And then we got to be realistic here. Nobody's going to be perfect. We always talk about the 80-20 rule here. 80% of the time, if you're making good choices, you're on track, you're going to make progress. 20% of the time, enjoy life. We're still all going to want to have those things, but what I like is a free day concept. Is one day out of the week. Now, free day can't be every other day. I see people abuse free days sometimes. Every other day is a free day. I recommend 6 days between free days, and if you have to, bank that free day. So let's say I had my free day on Saturday, and let's say all of a sudden it's the following Saturday, and I really don't have anything going on, but Sunday night I know I've got a social function, and maybe I'm going to just bank and I'm going to push that free day back, and even though I've done 6 days, so I would say minimum, the goal you want to shoot for is 6 days between free day. And free day doesn't mean a blank check. It doesn't mean go out and eat as much as you can like it's your last supper. It means go out and enjoy some of those things, have a few drinks, maybe have a dessert. Do it in moderation, because I think really when you get control over this thing is when you can go have a free day, and then the next day you're back on track. That's when you've got control and the food isn't controlling you. So that is a concept I've really liked, because you got to make it a lifelong concept. Now, are you going to mess it up once in a while? Yeah, that's all right. Nutrition, I've been in this business for 16 years. This is truly the hardest part, but what I see where people fall short is it's the reactive mindset. It's the I'll just try to get something in here or there, and then they never get the body, or they never get the look they're really looking for. And you really got to put some time into this and make this an equal partner. I see people all the time at the gym who put hours and hours and hours in the gym, but they never look any different. And that's the main thing. I would bet if I sat down with them and I had them write down and honestly tell me everything they were doing, I could shoot holes in what they're doing. Because a lot of times I talk to people, once I start talking to them, they say, well, I know how to eat good. 9 times out of 10, I can tell you they're not eating good. They're not eating correctly. They're skipping meals. Their dinners, they might be doing good, and then their dinners are typically where they fall short. One night it's something good, the next night it's pizza, so there's no consistency there. You have to get consistent with this, and you have to string days of solid nutrition together. You can't do 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, because you kind of end up spinning your tires that way. So you want to start stringing good days. Maybe it's 5 days, right? Your goal is to do 5 days in a row. Maybe then it's 6 days and then a free day. Maybe you're gonna try to go 10 days of good solid nutrition, and you've got down the road, you've got a reward day. I know I was talking to somebody. Well, you're really good at this with the hot dog thing you're talking about. You planned it out. You've been really solid. So I think that's a great example though. It's like then you kind of reward yourself, but you don't go overboard. So that's what you want to start doing, is really just starting to put some planning into this and start being proactively thinking ahead, because that's what's going to get you see your body change. I know I hear people say, well, I want to get defined arms, I want to get pecs, or I want to get nice. You got to, probably have really good bodies, but you just can't see them because there's too much insulation over the top. So get the insulation off, you'll be surprised what you find under there. And that comes from doing this, is getting the body under, is getting the nutrition under control. And this is the one thing, people hate to do it, but you must track what you want to improve. If you want to improve your nutrition, you need to track it. And the two websites we're using for this, that we're recommending, are MyFitnessPal, which is kind of like a Facebook for fitness. This is a new one. I just started using it the other day. And then I also use Daily Burn, and some of you are already using it for me right now, which I think really breaks down. The thing I like about Daily Burn is it breaks it into percentages. So we're talking about that 40, it does it all for you. So you don't have to sit there and figure out how many grams of this. It gives you a gram range. It gives you a pie chart. It has a huge database of foods. It's free. If you guys aren't on Daily Burn, they will try to sell you something called the Pro version. They'll give you a 30-day trial. You get done with the 30-day trial, you just say no thanks, and you can have the free version, which will give you plenty of information. The Pro version, all it does is it gives you sodium, fiber, potassium. It gives you a little more information. But if you're just getting started out with this, the free version of Daily Burn is just fine. MyFitnessPal does a good job. It has a good database. The only thing is it really pretty much keeps you at one ratio, and it tracks calories more but you can still have somebody look at that. Throughout the jumpstart, your coach should be looking at these things and giving you some recommendations, you know, based on what they're seeing on these things. But I think online tracking is the way to go. Too often when we're working with people on nutrition in the past, they do it in a notebook, and all of a sudden they show up and they're like, oh, I forgot my notebook. You know, so then you say, we'll drop it off the next time. But online, I can go in and look at it anytime. I typically do it on Mondays with my people I'm working with. But it's amazing, and we've sat down during personal training sessions and punched in what they're doing, and when the numbers come up, their eyes get really big. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I was eating that. My ratios were that off, that I was eating 70% carbohydrate and 10% protein. They're just, you know, it's mind-boggling once you start looking, because a lot of times what you think you're doing, what you're actually doing are two different things. So using these websites, you can get some great feedback and start making adjustments. Now, what I tell people too is, you might have 6 things that, you know, we want to work on. We're going to work on knocking out 1 or 2 at a time. You know, it's kind of like the old saying, how do you eat an elephant, 1 bite at a time. You try to work on what are the most you know, obvious things that we need to work on. And a lot of times it's the blood sugar thing. It's like getting people to understand that you can't be eating so much sugar. That's why you're overeating. That's why you're inconsistent. So a lot of times it's the breakfast is bad. So maybe it's the first thing we're working on, eating a good breakfast, and then all of a sudden you eat a good breakfast, and all of a sudden you start noticing the rest of the day starts to do a lot better. So we typically, when we work with people on nutrition, that's what we look at. You know, instead of trying to change everything at once, let's change a few things. You know, let's get consistent, and then we can get more picky as we go along. But that is what you need to do to really make some progress in this department. It takes a little extra time. I would say logging is probably going to take you maybe 10-15 extra minutes a day. It's even good to go into some of these programs and pre-log your day. That's the proactive thing. Instead of logging as the day goes on, because sometimes in Daily Burn people will say, oh gosh, my protein's really low, and they'll try to make it up in 2 meals, you know, for the day. They're like, oh man, I need 50, 60 more grams of protein. They'll get all the protein in their last 2 meals a day versus eating it throughout the day. So sometimes it's good to just log a day in ahead of time and see what your plan looks like, and then make adjustments from there. Any questions right now? Got a few minutes left.
Are you wanting us to do both of those, or we can just
pick one? Yeah, just pick one. You don't have to. If you have, like some people use Livestrong, right? You know, I would just pick a site that works for you, and then what you want to do is whoever you're working with is you want to give them that login information. And like the trainers should be all getting on MyFitnessPal, so you're going to want to friend your trainers. I'll make sure they all get on FitnessPal. But for Daily Burn,